Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about the two best heroes for every single role. Now obviously we're only one day into the patch, so I'm probably going to have to put out another one of these in a week to update you guys on how the meta is shifting and how things are going. But with the knowledge that we have, with the win rates that are shown, and with all of the experience that I've had through my pubs and through watching other people's pubs, I'm here today to give you the top two heroes for every single role. And let's get into it. On top of that, I'm also going to be doing this over on the Game Leap website. Literally, I just made a video on the Game Leap website showing off how to play the new broken support Weaver. This hero is ridiculous in lane. It has two abilities at level 1. It one-shots couriers at level 1. It scales like crazy because the Q gives experience with that facet. There's so much potential. So if you guys are interested in more 7.36 content, you don't think there's enough on YouTube and you want new builds to try, new info, whatever it is, I'm going to be posting a ton of videos over there. So go sign up now. All right, let's start off with safe laners. The first safe laner we have is Chaos Knight. Now Chaos Knight with one of his facets has only strong illusions. This means if you use Manta Style or your Aghanim Scepter, if you don't know what CK's Ags is, basically you click your ultimate and then every single ally on your team globally spawns an illusion of that hero, right? All of those are strong illusions. Previously, what would happen is if he made these illusions or he made Manta Styles, they could be killed by Dagons, Life Drain, Mana Drain. Any of these basic illusion clears would just be a complete counter to this sort of playstyle. Now, every single illusion CK makes is completely immune to this strategy. On top of that, if they're within range of the CK, they take less damage. It's 20% less damage. So essentially what you do is you stack illusions. Here's the build. First off, you go Tread's Wand, then into Armlet. Still want to go Armlet, it's the best damage item on this hero. Then into Orchid. There is some variance here. Instead of going Orchid, you can just go straight into Manta. However, you're going to have severe mana problems. And so I think the Orchid is very important here just to make sure that you can actually have solo kill potential and have mana throughout the game. Then we're going to get into our Manta Style because they will become strong illusions. And finally into an Aghanim Scepter. From there, items like Heart to buff up the illusions is wonderful. Or you can go Assault Kuros or BKB depending on the game. And yeah, CK's win rate has absolutely skyrocketed as a result of these changes. And also the big thing about Chaos Knight that is really broken now is his innate. So no matter what facet you choose, his innate, every single time you spawn an illusion, you have a 50% chance of spawning a second illusion. And this is why it's crazy. Every single time you spawn an illusion with your shard, which is based on your stun. Every time you stun someone, it creates an illusion. You might get 2. Every single time you ulti, you might get 2. Every single time you use your Ags, every single person that splits, which is your whole team, might make 2. So you might make 10 illusions from your Ags. I'm not kidding. Manta Style, you can make extra illusions from that. And so all of a sudden, there's like unironically 10 to 15 illusions of Chaos Knight running around the map, potentially more. It's really insane. Go check it out, and it synergizes really well with Bloodthorn in the late game, which is what I forgot to mention while talking about the items, but Bloodthorn with all of these illusions just insta-kills people, so pick that up as your late game item. And you already have Orchid, so it's an easy build-up. All right, next, let's get into Juggernaut. This hero is a juggernaut. Good one, Speed. Of pubs right now. I think it's the second highest win rate hero. I think Axe is number 1 and Jug's number 2 right now on Dota buff. And this hero, I mean, the changes they give to it are insane. So let's talk about a few of the changes first so you guys understand why Jug is good. Number 1, his innate. If someone is facing him, he does 10% more damage to them. This is always the case with Omni Slash and his Swift Slash. So his Ags and his ultimate are just 10% better. That's pretty huge. Now, when his spin ends, when Blade Fury ends, he gets a hard dispel. So if you try to chain stun Jug while he's spinning, like you cast Hex on him, so when the spin ends, he instantly gets hexed, that doesn't work. You can't do that. It just gets dispelled. This is just part of the hero now. And finally, his spin, his Blade Fury, can crit. It can crit if you take the facet. It can crit. This is crazy because this Blade Fury has become an ability that can scale. It scales, it hits more often with attack speed. And so here's the build you want to go. You're going to want to go Treads, Wand. Well, obviously like starting items, Wand, Stick, blah, blah, blah. You need mana, plenty of clarities, etc. Treads, Maelstrom, Mjolnir, into Sanjin Yasha, just your tanky, your frontline, you can run in, you have movement speed to keep your Q on people, then into Axe, then into Butterfly. The Butterfly is going to give you some insane late game timing where you have a ton of attack speed, and your Blade Fury is going to rip people to shreds. The amount of damage a Juggernaut can do with his Ags, his spin, and his Omni Slash all also being buffed, every single one got buffed, in some capacity is insane, and it's no shock this hero's win rate has absolutely skyrocketed. Now let's get into the mid lane heroes. First off, we have Meepo. I don't really have too much to say about Meepo. However, I've heard talk about his pack rat facet being cool, but honestly, what's really broken about Meepo right now and makes him, in my opinion, the best mid in the game, or arguably the best mid in the game, is his facet that speeds up the timing in which he can get a second Meepo. It usually is at level 4. Now it's at level 3. And you might be like, Speed, that's one level. Is that really a big deal? And the answer is yes, it is a huge deal. Meepo will have to play 2 creep waves less without a second Meepo. This means he can go back to base if he needs. If you're against Ember Spirit, you're just going to get every single deny. I mean, what am I saying? Who cares if it's Ember Spirit? If like any hero and they're not nuking the creep, you're just going to deny it because you're going to have like 120 damage combined with their 2 Meepos. And they both heal each other with Ransack. Like, you can't trade. The thing is about Meepo is at level 4, a lot of heroes just stop being able to lane against him. You speed that up, now he snowballs even harder and faster. It can farm, and he can push out the wave quicker if he needs to. He can stack earlier if he needs to. He can roam. It can be 2-3 minutes into the game, and a Meepo might show up in your lane, and you might get poofed on. This is a real thing. So yeah, this hero just got buffed really hard in terms of this facet. It arguably got, in my opinion, one of the best facets in the entire game. And so yeah, if you're a Meepo player, this is your time to shine. A hero that is also hyper broken is Templar Assassin. This hero for a while has been one of the worst, and I mean worst, pub heroes in the game. Heroes like CK and Jug and Meepo, they've been chilling. TA has been bottom of the barrel. But now, Refraction is just a crazy new ability. So basically what they did is you get 1 less refraction charge. It used to be 3, now it's 2. However, those 2 charges don't get instantly broken by damage over time. So something like Flame Guard from Ember Spirit has to deal 60 damage in order to break the refraction, which is just like completely eliminating all of the old ways you would break refraction. Blood Grenade, Jakiro Q, Viper Q. Nope, they don't work. It just doesn't work. And so now TA is just hard to counter, extremely hard to counter. On top of that, when you break one of these charges, it gives her an extra damage charge. So now, instead of having 3 potential damage charges at level 1, she has 4. At max level, instead of having 7, she has 10. And she has built-in Psyblades. Her innate ability is literally just her Psyblades. So you get Refraction and Psyblades, meaning you have your level 2 timing at level 1. That's pretty broken, and a lot of the heroes that got that this patch are broken. Talking about one of the heroes that got that change, we have Legion Commander. Legion Commander is the most broken hero of the patch. It is the best hero of the patch, and I will likely make a video on it tomorrow or even today. But why is it broken? It's really simple. She gets her Moment of Courage, her ability where if you attack her or if a creep attacks her, she attacks back and heals from it. This ability is now innate, and not even really a weaker version of it. For a lot of the innate abilities, it's sort of a weaker version, but for some reason for Legion, it is, but it's kind of not. You know what I mean? Like, it is, but it's not. And so she's level 2 at level 1, straight up. On top of that, they buffed her overwhelming odds, where if you hit heroes or creeps, as long as there's a hero around, so if you nuke creeps, there has to be a hero, you'll get the bonus, you get a barrier. So depending on how much damage you deal, you get an equal barrier, which is ridiculous. Because let's say you nuke at level 1, a hero, and a creep wave. It gives you like an 150 barrier. What? What? And you have an innate ability. You're level 2 and you can't take damage. And you heal from your E. You can't lane into this hero. It's just impossible. On top of that, this scales. If you nuke an entire team, let's say they have Meepo as well, or illusions, because it works on illusions right now, which will be removed, I assure you, you can have a 2,000 barrier. And this is a pretty common occurrence. This is not something where like, oh, Legion has a 1,500 barrier, she got really lucky. It's like, oh, Legion has another 1,000 barrier. Just, oh, guess we gotta kill her barrier again. And on top of that, it's a physical barrier, so you can kill her with magic damage. However, on top of that, her Ags now gives her spell immunity during duel. So you can't kill her with physical damage, and you can't kill her with spell damage. Legion Commander's broken, to say the least. The build is simple: Bracer, Phase Boots, Wand, Blink, Blade Mail, Blink, Ags, Shard, BKB AC, Silver Edge. Easy. Easy, easy peasy. All right, then we have Axe. Axe is also one of the best heroes of the patch. He was already good last patch and then got significantly buffed. What do they give him? Well, first off, his shard does something pretty interesting now. If you get the shard on this hero, you can apply multiple battle hungers to the same target. And on top of that, when you call someone, it applies a battle hunger. So if you call someone and then you click your battle hunger on them, it applies 2 battle hungers. This is just a lot of damage, considering battle hunger does damage based on your armor, and call gives you armor, your items give you armor, face boots, blade mail, and on top of that, when you kill people with Axe now, it's just innate, you get armor. On top of that, if you dunk people and you happen to get a kill with dunk, it gives you armor. And so the multiplier from battle hunger that does damage based on your armor goes insane. And you put 2 of these on a support, it completely negates all of their movement speed. They cannot move at all, they are a slug, and they die from 2 battle hungers. It is insane. It gives Axe the ability to kill supports. For the longest time, you just couldn't. On top of that, you take a facet where now when you call people, they have a bonus 45 attack speed. So when you blade mail call people, they just kill themselves way faster. And this includes creeps. So if you call a creep wave, for 3 seconds, they all get bonus attack speed. It's like some Winter Wyvern ulti shit. It's like, it's broken. This hero is insane. Everything is insane about it. On top of that, the Ags is the old shard where if you spin on people, it reduces their physical damage. But apparently, from what I heard and what is shown, is goes through BKB, which is like kind of sus. And so yeah, the items for Axe, nothing really changes. It's just like Phase Boots, Blade Mail, Blink. I would recommend skipping Vanguard generally, just going for like a Bloodstone with your shard. I think, personally, I'm a big fan of buying the shard before the Bloodstone, shard Bloodstone, then into like either a BKB or an Octarine core, just whatever you're feeling. All right, getting into position 4s, we first off have Batrider. Batrider is crazy right now because they buffed the Q and they buffed the W. If you take one of Batrider's facets, when you flame break someone, you get 10% movement speed and 8% spell amp. So you can't run away from Batrider. It amps his damage. They buffed sticky napalm damage, and your auto attacks deal like damage over time now. So your auto attacks just get abused by sticky napalm. And if you have a blood grenade, as long as you don't have 2 blood grenades, if you have 1 blood grenade and you blood grenade someone who's sticky napalm, that gets amped by sticky napalm. Your auto attack gets amped by sticky napalm, and flame break gets amped by sticky napalm. And sticky napalm was buffed. Oh yeah, and your innate gives you spell amp, so that amps all of that. Why would this be good? Well, basically, you take Q and W, you build up some stacks, and people instantly die. Plus, Flaming Lasso does more damage now. Your E does less, but basically the skill build is like 4-1-1 or 2-1-2. Personally, I think going 4-1-1 is the way to go. In terms of items, just go the standard items, just like, you know, Blink and Force Staff. You don't need to do anything special. Just buy a ton of blood grenades. You should basically always have a blood grenade. All right, and the other hero is Dark Willow. I mean, there is so much to say about Dark Willow. First off, her innate. If she is in Shadow Realm, she gets 100% mana regen and 100% HP regen amp. This means if you pop your stick, your Fairy Fire, have a salve going, or tangos going during Shadow Realm, it's all doubled. You could see why this is problematic in the laning stage. Yeah, she just heals like crazy. You just time this shit and use it during the Shadow Realm, and then all of a sudden you just can't touch Willow. She just outtrades you. On top of that, they gave her a facet where her Bramble is much bigger, so it's easier to hit. And if someone gets stuck in one of the brambles, they get 10% spell reduction, or they take 10% more damage from spells. So they get really messed up when they get stuck in the bramble. And yeah, you just play Caster Willow. Basically, you put Bedlam on your teammates, which is something you can do nowadays. It's been the reason why Willow's been somewhat popular. You put it on your teammates, you buy an Aether Lens, you do that. You buy your shard, so then your Q is this massive bramble. Your E summons brambles, which also do the spell amp. It's just crazy what you can do on this hero, like absolutely nuts. And they buffed the laning stage, like really crazy hero. All right, let's get into position 5s. First off, we have Warlock. Now, if anything dies under the effect of any of his abilities, they summon an imp. And this is kind of a big deal because now if you're playing Warlock and you're upheavaling a creep wave or heroes or creep camps, you actually get more imps when you kill them with upheaval. And that's really nice because it makes the hero way better at farming and it just does a lot more damage. So this is great. On top of that, they gave him 2 of the coolest facets in the game. So the first one that's really, really crazy is that you get a Black Grimoire, which is an item. So basically you get this item, you can't put it in your backpack, so it like kind of slot clogs. But as long as you're careful about your slots, it's not a problem. Essentially, you start with 1 charge on this Black Grimoire, and you can't use it for 7 minutes. But after 7 minutes, whenever you want, you can decide to consume it. And depending on how many charges you have, if you ever get an assist or a kill, they give the same exact amount of XP, which is 250, which is a lot. Like Wisdom Runes, the level 1 Wisdom Runes give like, I think 280, and the minute 14s give 560. So like, for reference, This is crazy. If you get a ton of kill and assists, you get a dummy amount of XP. So instead of having to buy the shitty ass build that people do on this hero, which is Midas, which I hate, now you just get a built-in Midas because you didn't really need the gold for Midas. Yeah, sure, you could argue, I want an axe, I want to get a refresher, and I'm gonna 1v9 the game instead of trusting in my team because I have trust issues from my childhood. I'm gonna basically do it all myself. But now you just take the Black Grimoire. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. You just get like this huge XP buff. And then sure, they just made the hero better. Like, I mean, the hero's been getting buffed like in general. Sure, they nerfed Chaotic Offering a little bit to kind of compensate. They also nerfed the Upheaval. And so yeah, they tried to like balance out the hero because they knew how good this Grimoire thing would be. But honestly, it just doesn't matter. All you need to do is just don't max the heal, max Fatal Bonds and Upheaval. I actually think because of how good Upheaval scales now, what you do is you take 2 points in Fatal Bonds and then you max out the Upheaval. That is the personal build I would recommend. All right, and finally, the last one to get into is Weaver. And as I was talking about, I made a full guide over on the Gamely website, so go check that out, guys. But basically, the reason why this hero is an insane support now, it's a great core as well, don't get me wrong. It's a great safe laner. But now, when you bug people with the right facet, you get XP every time the bugs hit. And this is insane later on. It's pretty bad early on. Like, you shouldn't just casually bug people to get XP early game because it feeds too much gold and you want to use it for kills. It's also a 40-second cooldown. But when you get it down to a 20-second cooldown and the bugs hit on a 0.7-second interval and they give you 10 XP, if a bug is on someone for 10 seconds, you get like ridiculous XP. And I was playing against a tiny carry recently, one of my friends, and it just got stuck on him. And I was hitting like multiple 2 or 3 man bugs. I was very conscious about which direction I was sending my bugs to hit as many heroes as possible. And even though the game wasn't going great in the mid game, I was like very, very high level and I snowballed like crazy. Like when you pop off, you pop off. And on top of that, you now have Gemini attack at level 1. This hero's trading is just insane. You just double hit whenever you want. Like you just have built-in double hit. So all you do, because the hero's stats aren't that good, you hit them, you double hit them, you Sakuchi through them, and you run away and you wait for the next double hit. It's like really funny. In terms of the build, I would go Wand, Vessel, Seeds of Serenity, into Gleipnir, just like high HP, hard to kill, running around. In terms of skill builds, because it can be a little bit weird, what I personally recommend is Sakuchi at level 1, Bugs at level 2, Sakuchi at level 3, so you're going to be 1-2-1 because you have, like, even at level 3, you have 4 skill points, right, because of the innate shit. And then, I personally, in my game, tried going 4 points in Swarm because I wanted to spam the bugs to get XP, and I think it can be good if the game is going well, but honestly, having Sakuchi at a 6-second cooldown so you can move around the map, place wards, and be hard to kill in general is more consistent, and is probably what I'd recommend overall, but I'm testing the two. I think both can be cool. But alright, that's going to be all for today's video. I'm going to be doing a wacky builds video, top 5 or 10 wacky builds, because this is very serious. This is like top heroes to play, but I'm going to be doing like a crazy builds to try coming up soon. I'm also going to be doing some tier lists as well. Some fun videos on like what I think are the best facets that are in the game, what are the best innates. There's so much to talk about, so subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.